Well, hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Parent Athlete Advocate podcast. We are here with today's guest, none other than Miss Lila Heard. Miss Heard, thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. So I got to start out. You've played on maybe one of the most successful programs in girls Oklahoma high school history. University of Tulsa, all-time leading scorer. You've accomplished so much, not only as a player, but also as a coach. Did you ever think when you put the shoes down that your kids might surpass you as far as accomplishment? And I guess I should ask, have they even surpassed you at this point?
Well, yes, that was the goal. I mean, as you grow up thinking you have these big dreams, big goals, big aspirations, you never in your wildest dreams that your kids would. Well, we, as Tony and I, that was our goal, was for them to be bigger and better and stronger and faster, always, and so that was the goal. That was to raise not just athletes, but people, good people.
No, you certainly have done that. Talk a little bit about how much more impactful it has been to experience successful athletic participation from the parent side versus what it was as a player.
Well, it's definitely a challenge. It's definitely a challenge because with social media, we didn't grow up with social media. We didn't have all the pressures of outside voices, opinions, So it's definitely um, learning for us as well as them, with the NIL, with the money, with the transfer portal. It's a different beast. I mean, this is
Really?
nobody teaches you this stuff going in. Nobody tells you what's coming ahead. It's a different world, and um, we just try to stay in the loop as much as possible, asking questions. We have great coaches and mentors on our side too, so we're never afraid to make a phone call and ask questions. And I still talk to Sherry Cole, my high school coach. We still see Bill Self all the time. We just talked to Conkle at the game the other night, asking questions
Yeah.
about anything. So we're still
Mm.
learning as well.
That's awesome.
With you touching on NIL, we'll jump to that. And pay to play is in play now in college and even at the high school AAU level. I mean, it's just a hot topic at every level. Can you give me maybe your three most critical things you would think any parent should know who's looking to help their young athlete get an opportunity in college, maybe earn NIL dollars at the high school or collegiate level?
Um, that's a whole nother conversation in itself. But as far as NIL, that is, they have coaches on every staff that deal with NIL. You can go in with a number, doesn't mean you're going to get it. But you can go in with an idea. You can look on AI, you can look on websites, you can ask questions. But the biggest thing is to when you're going on these visits and you're talking to these coaches is to ask thousands of questions. And if you don't know what to ask ChatGPT. They tell you everything. And look up, numbers, have an idea, because you're negotiating, and it's almost to the point now where you need a moderator. You need someone in between you and the coaches to help you
Yeah.
through navigate the numbers and all the fine details. It's a beast, and it's not going anywhere. And it's getting, I mean, I don't want to say worse, but it's getting better for the players. But it's definitely in the back of these kids' minds. And it's hard to, like, I coach eighth grade. It's hard to teach these kids at this level the steps to get to that, what you see on TV, because there's so much in between. There's so much mentally, emotionally, physically on a daily basis of what you have to do to get up and grind every single day. And so there's so much more before you even get to that point that you need to establish with your kids, and that's what that's what I focus a lot on, is getting to the next level, like eighth grade. Let's talk about eighth grade. Let's talk about ninth grade. Let's talk about high school. Let's talk about your goals. What are we doing on a daily basis? What do we think about the first thing in the morning? What is your first thoughts? Because that's what you
Yeah.
need to be working towards. Not, I'm going to go make thousands at college. Like, well, what are you going to do to get there? Everybody
Right.
says that.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's
I'm glad you took it there because I wanted to touch on your experience as a coach, and you've obviously had a lot of success leading younger athletes and helping them usher them into that next step. What is your biggest advice that you're giving to parents right now just to help athletes have a successful and make the most of their high school career?
Well, just like college, you have to do your research. Just because they have a title doesn't make them a coach. Just because they have a title doesn't make them qualified to teach your child. And I say this lightly, but you need to look at people's backgrounds. You need to look and see what they did with their lives. What did they do in high school? Where did they go to school? It's always a topic. Oklahoma City schools, suburban schools, small schools, TPS schools. It's so important that you surround yourself with the right people. People with bigger dreams and goals and aspirations that are going to open your mind up to something different, because some of these parents don't know. They don't know that, just because you're in a school system, you feel like you're on the right avenue, but that might not be there. They might be there just to win. That's not what it's all
Yeah.
about. You need to develop every year. If you don't have a left hand, you should have a left hand by fifth grade. I'm sorry. That's just
Mhm.
facts. You know,
Mhm.
if I in the real world, I would be starting kids at first, second grade. That's where I started
Mhm.
mine. Diapers, we're
Yeah.
in triple threat. Like it's not a game. Like we're leaving our lights on in the house, you're doing 10 push-ups. Like, it's
Uh,
discipline every single day. Did you get up? Did you eat your breakfast? Did you make your bed? Those are the first two things. Like, if you're
yeah.
skipping those, you're skipping steps. And that leads to on the court success too. In the classroom, are you being a good kid? Are you doing your chores? Are you listening to your teachers? With listening with intention, not just going through the motions. So that's a lot of it
Mhm.
too.
All right, I'm glad you brought that up. I was joking with Jason before we started getting my 15-month-old daughter started. I'm like, we got to get triple threat. We got to start
Mhm.
shooting this basketball, figuring out
Not a
what hand you
game.
are.
Not a
But
game.
watching not at all. You gotta get prepped sometime. But watching both Staley and Tyler play, you can tell that they love the game. What were some things you all did early on that helped them fall in love with the sport and engage at a high level beyond, just their parents were athletes too?
Well, like you said, we were athletes, and so the girls were born in Florida, and we were right out of college. Tony had just got back from overseas. He had to make a decision: do I play ball? Do I be a parent? And that's one of the hardest things. And I was going to go overseas, and I got pregnant, so there's my career over. So you find different avenues, and when we lived in Miami, Florida, for 7 years. He played with Tim Hardaway. I had pro-am leagues. Like, I mean, there's still ways to stay active. So those girls were born in the gym, literally in the gym every single day. That's all they knew. And we were coaches. So get up, go to, there's a process. You get up, we go to the gym, we do what we got to do. We coach, we teach, so that's all they knew. And they were lucky because they were part of our worlds where we were in a gym 6 7 days a week, so that they were fortunate enough to live that life. Not everybody gets to live that life, and not everybody gets to see your parents do what they're telling you to do on a daily basis. So I retired probably, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago. Tony still plays like he's 20 years old. I don't know how he does it, but he does. But it's just, we taught them early, like, you set goals and you reach them. That was number one. Like, if they were little, can you dribble right and left hand? 100 dribbles right, 100 dribbles left. One, you're learning how to count, and two, you're learning how to use your fingertips. So
Mm,
it's a process every week. Okay, we're gonna do better at this. We didn't have cones, we had cans. We didn't have stairs, we had tape. We didn't have a goal. We threw the ball off the top of the house and you jump and go get the rebound. Those kind of things start small and you build
mhm.
up. And then, like I tell kids, we don't need a gym. There's times this summer we didn't have a gym. We were working out in the park. But that's where
Right.
toughness begins. These kids don't
Mm,
play pickup like we did back in the day. We got up Saturday
mm,
morning, 6 a.m., ready to go, and
yeah.
they just don't get that. It's a different world, and so you have to introduce these kids to creative ways to get better. And not only that is, I think, when they decided they wanted to be basketball collegiate athletes, we gave them a break. Like, let's go play volleyball, let's go be runners, let's do something else. Because one, you're not just developing basketball skills, you're developing people skills, you're developing your
Life
muscles
skill.
in different ways. So I'm full believer in play every sport you can possibly play, but don't just play, be the best. Always try to be the best.
Mhm.
And if you don't know, I taught my kids about volleyball during COVID. That's when they decided to play. I played all the sports. I was a swimmer, I played golf, I tried everything, and I just nothing was I didn't fall in love with it like I did basketball. So I think
Well,
that's
Staley
more
has
important.
several. Did she end up getting state champion as a runner as well?
She got second in the 800. Staley got second in the 800. She messed up her hamstring during conference at Union because it was wet. She
Oh wow,
slipped and she messed up her hamstring, and so she ran in state with a messed up hamstring, got second. So
wow,
she's a state
yeah,
champion cross
Impressive.
country, basketball, all stater in volleyball, and then track. So
awesome, man.
yeah, but
Regular
she's an
gym Thor.
athlete. She was jumping off of she was jumping off of bleachers at age 2. Like, you don't get those workouts.
Yeah.
Just sleeping all day in the house. So
Yeah.
we were living. We were out. We were moving. So
Let me ask you this. It's changed so much as far as just the landscape of athletics in general. If you had to do it all over again, let's say your daughters were freshmen today, what are some things you might do differently?
it's a great question. I would do a lot different. I've learned so much with the AAU world. It is just that's another whole beast. I would have moved them to Texas. Not moved. I would have started them in Texas because you got to go where the competition is. Unfortunately, I love Oklahoma. I love the sports, but you play those girls year round. And
Mhm.
I would have started them early on, and I hate to say travel, but I would have got their name out there more, because really it's about the name on the front of the jersey. It's not about the name on the back of the jersey. When you're getting into these
Mhm.
big circuits, 3SSB, EYBL, you got to get your name out there, because some of those top 25 weren't top 25 players. They just got their name out there
Right.
quicker. So I think
Yeah.
I would have did that more,
Advertise.
because we played a lot of local. We played, and back when we were going through it, our biggest thing was just to get these girls experience. We just need to play. And
Mhm.
we were third graders playing sixth grade ball. Tyler was a
Mm,
third grader playing sixth graders. Like, I don't care. We're gonna get beat. We're not here to win. We're here to get better and grow. And we need to play
mhm.
bigger, faster, stronger always. So that was our main focus, was just to get the ball in the hands and just play. And
Yeah.
what better experience to play up. And so we played in the Fred tournaments till probably eighth grade, no, seventh, eighth grade, and then that's when we decided to travel. But I would have got him in a some kind of circuit before then.
Mm. So you would have gone bigger sooner. Is there anything else you would have done as far as specifically with their training or mindset, or like you mentioned, doing other sports? Is there anything that comes to mind as far as just building them as individuals?
I'm a big believer in the mental side of sports. I think I would have had them talk to somebody And I think because in college they do have psychiatrists, they do have psychologists and people you can talk to.
Yeah.
And I think I would have introduced that at an early age, because it's not a shameful act to go talk to somebody about your feelings. So with Staley,
Yeah.
she keeps things in, and then I could see it. She wears it. So I'd be like, go for a run. She'd be gone
Yeah.
7 miles, come back a different person. Same thing with
Yeah.
Tyler. All right, you need to go do some nail therapy or something. Like, we've got to get you guys a break, because you can be so focused that you drown in your thoughts. You drowning in, the pressures, whatever else there is. But I think I would have
No, that's
introduced them.
huge. I think when talking to parents, even parents that train, I just had a parent text me, thank you for making sure parents are educated off the court, because often nobody's having those conversations, even with us. There was nobody to really talk
Yeah.
to when you're going through a shooting slump, or coach isn't giving you the minutes you thought you should have, or you're going through multiple injuries in back-to-back seasons. And whatever the case may be, athletics is life, right? And so just having somebody there as a voice
Yeah.
to bounce ideas off of, especially if it's somebody that's been through it, I found has been really helpful for a lot of athletes and their families.
Yes, definitely. I mean, because you carry so much. You're still a kid. You're still, you still have academics, and now you have pressures. You have social media pressures. You have your mind
Anxiety.
games you play with yourself. And then, what if a
Mm,
coach doesn't like you? What if a person doesn't like you? Like, how do these kids deal with that? Because our
yeah.
communication skills at this level they do not know how to communicate. If it's not on a phone,
Mhm.
what do we do? So
Right.
I think that is a lost art, is communication. I mean, just on the court,
Yeah.
getting my kids to talk, call a screen
Oh,
out.
yeah.
It's a lost art, and I think that really needs to be a focus for parents. I mean, talk to your kids, ask questions. Don't just be like, oh, you played good, oh, you need to do this. Criticizing, that comes and goes, but you have to communicate. We
Yeah.
got to teach our kids how to communicate, teach our kids how to have hard conversations. Tell me, what do you
Yeah, and I
feel?
like what you said earlier about making sure the people they're around have a certain pedigree. Like, what did they do
Mhm.
with their lives? What have they done with their, as a professional? What have they done with their kid? Things like that. They do matter, because often people are in positions that you don't even know their path to get that position. Sometimes a position's vacated and somebody just like, hey, we need you to do this. That doesn't necessarily make them the right person that you want leading your kids. But where I'm going with this is, when you have somebody that has the pedigree, that's also having those conversations with your kids, it matters, because all of a
Yes.
sudden you can trust that those conversations are leading them to a positive end,
Yeah,
or
experience
positive.
matters. Yeah,
Yeah.
because everybody has different experiences, and you want to know that they're giving you the right, they're giving your kids the right tools to deal with those hard things, because,
Yeah.
we got suicide, we got all these things that come so easy. And
Yeah.
this day and age is not easy. Parenting this day and age is not easy. So we have to make sure
Mhm.
we build our circle of trust around our kids. There's friends
Yeah.
I dismiss because you're not bringing the right tools to my family. So
Right.
I cannot allow you to infect my kids with this thinking. Quitting, the whole aspect of quitting, or finding the easy way, or, even staying up all night. You might think that's a small thing, but that's huge. So, how productive are you going to
Yeah.
be tomorrow? You know?
Right.
Yeah, okay, stay up till 1, 2, but we're not doing the whole night thing. We're not staying on the phone all night.
Yeah.
We're not doing those things. Shut your phone off, turn your mind off, rest, do it again the next day.
Yep, absolutely. So tell me this, obviously you and Tony, both big time athletes, and when you're navigating your daughter's careers, as from the parent side of things, what happens when you guys maybe have a disagreement about something regarding their career, or maybe a decision you think they should make? how do you guys kind of settle those? Do y'all go out and shoot threes, or what's kind of
An
your
argument
workaround when
between
you
me and Tony or the kids?
either? It's like a family
Oh,
shootout, like, "Hey, this is you guys are going to OSU," or is it, how do you guys navigate when there's maybe not everybody's on the same page as far as
oh, it
what
happens a
happens
lot.
next?
It happens a lot. You have no idea. We're all strong-minded, we're all very stubborn, and we all know what we're talking about. So it
Right.
happens daily. But we just talk about it. Let's do pros and cons. Let's weigh these out.
Mhm.
Let's look over here. Let's look over here. We still Darlene Caleb is a major go-to in our life. Still, we still talk to her. What do we do? What should we do? How should we navigate this? We, like I said, we still have people we still confide in as parents, because we do want our kids to make their decisions. It's their life first and foremost. As of when they went to college after their freshman year, we kind of just let them. We just kind of ride the pine in the back now. So we just kind of let
Mhm.
them navigate, and let them do their thing, and when we need to step up, if we do, and they have a good head on their shoulders for the most part. But if we do need to say something, we're like, hold up, let's talk about this, and it's not like a family meeting type thing. We're playing cards, we're playing dominoes, we're
Yeah.
having a fun game night, we're eating dinner, I'm doing hair, it's just a conversation. It's not a serious sit down, let's iron this out type thing. It's just let's get on the same page. Let's try to be on the same page as much as we can, because they're adults
Yeah.
now, they know everything.
I think you dropped a gem there too, though, because following you on Facebook, it's obvious that you guys are always having family get together, family fun, family social things. Talk about that, how that makes space to make tough decisions or handle tough circumstances.
So early on in our relationship, we decided, you know, we're just a close family. Tony and I are close anyways. That's my best friend. That's my go-to. We're going to the gym. We're going together. Like there's very few things we do apart, and that's just finding your person. That's just what you do, right? And so
Mm.
even in college, we were at the gym at the same time. We were shooting, getting extra shots. We were in the calf. Like it was just like, wow, this guy's literally following me. But he was like, no, this is what I do. And so it's just kind of how it's been. And we've always been a close family. And my kids have always navigated, even my son, he's always navigated towards whatever we do. That's just what we do. It wasn't,
Mm.
I tried to get my kids more involved with high school stuff. Are you going to go to the party? No. Are you going to go to homecoming? No. I mean, do something, go somewhere, get involved. No, mom, I don't really want to. I'm tired. I got this, and this coming up. I'm just resting. They're in here getting 100 push-ups in, like focused. And so from day one, they just been focused. And I just feel like the times we do have, we try to just enjoy and live. And my
Mm.
family as a whole, we're like that. We're just close. We play, we'll still play some Monopoly. It's just, I don't
Mhm.
know. It's just how we've always been, and I think we'll probably always be that way. So,
Mhm.
and that
Yeah.
does, like you said, open up an avenue to be more open about feelings, because nobody wants to talk about their feelings, especially when
Right.
you might not agree with their feelings. So,
Mhm.
I just think that's important. Like I said earlier on, you have to talk to your kids, and from day one, I've kept those lines of communication open to feel how you want to feel. You might not agree with me, but we're going to talk about it. So,
Yeah. No, that's been a major takeaway from me from everything you said is the communication piece and even how somebody who, despite being a big time athlete, having a husband who's a big time athlete, having daughters who are big time athletes, you guys still seek advocates and you still seek, you ask questions to others and you're constantly trying to get information, that is something I think is a big takeaway for parents out there, because if you guys are doing it, everybody else definitely needs to be doing it. So that's definitely huge.
There's always room for growth. Always room for growth.
Right.
I'm still trying to grow as a mom, still trying to grow as a coach, still trying to learn from those around me. So I think that's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Get
Right.
somebody on your team and protect your team and meet with your team. That's my takeaways from
Yeah.
Miss Lila Heard. So we thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, guys,
Thanks,
and thank
Lila.
you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. Until next time.
Bye.